Hi, I'm Reverend Andy Larsen, and this is my wife, Carrie, and we are so glad that you joined us today. This is the beginning of a series of interviews with our Muslim friends, and we are giving you the opportunity to listen in on kind of those relationships, how they grew, and some of the things that we learned, all in an effort to help you kind of overcome some of those maybe fears that you would have of initiating a relationship with a Muslim neighbor.
So tell us who we're going to meet today and how you got to know them.
Well, our first interview is with Jawad Khaki and his wife Kaniz. And I met Jawad over 10 years ago through a mutual friend. And we began to have coffees. And our friend knew that we were interested in this space that we share between Christians and Muslims. Both of us actually were interested in that. And so it was true. We met and we clicked right away. We had so many things to talk about and a lot of questions that we had for one another. And then as leaders of our respective communities, things that we wanted to kind of help those in our communities know and learn about the other person. So Jawad was a great ambassador for that initial journey.
So why specifically Jawad? What is it in that conversation that you're really hoping we'll learn from?
Yeah, it's an interesting process how you read your Bible and then you have these experiences. And I think I was reading in Acts 10 about the story of Cornelius and the story of Peter and Cornelius. Luke describes in Acts 10 that Cornelius was a man who feared God. He and all of his family feared God. He gave generously to the poor, and he prayed regularly. And that was in my mind and in my thinking. And then as I met Jawad and learned more about him, I discovered all of those characteristics were part of who Jawad was. And so he became someone that we could share this journey of peacemaking together. And we both had a deep love for God, and we're trying to understand how we can do that as Christians and Muslims in this place for ourselves, but also for our communities. So this is an opportunity for you to kind of learn with me, to hear with me, to understand some of the things that both Carrie and I have learned in this journey of walking with Muslims.
Yeah, my name is Muhammad Jawad Khaki. I was born in Tanzania in 1958. I lived there for 12 and a half years. And given the political situation changed there, some of you might remember Idi Amin in Uganda and the socialism in Tanzania. My family decided to migrate out of Tanzania. I was 5 years in Pakistan, and then I moved to the UK, where I did my bachelor's degree and was working there for 6 years. My father was the one who asked me to come breathe the fresh air of hope in America. So it was September 13th, a Friday, 3:30 in the afternoon. Kaniz, myself, and our two kids, a 2-year-old and 10-month-old, we showed up at JFK with $500 and 9 pieces of luggage.
1985.
1985. Yeah, so we were there on the East Coast and, busy with AT&T Bell Labs initially. And then just to continue developing my career, I'm a software engineer by training. Computer engineer by training. I decided to actually venture out west and took up an assignment at Microsoft in May 31st, 89. I worked there for 20 years, and we've been living here since then. And as we came down here, we also thought it was important for us to create a learning environment for our children. We had 3 kids now, a 6-year-old, a 5-year-old, and a 3-year-old. So we want to create an environment for the children to become good people, good human beings, good Muslims. Obviously, there was this consideration that we just go to North Gate, which is a little far away, and we may not be that regular. But Kaniz insisted that we actually start something on our own.
I wanted to start a school for my own children. So then convinced Jawad, and he supported me, and we started a Sunday school.
Yeah, I mean, our Iman story is an interesting story because the foundation of our community is really on two very strong pillars. One was children, right? The other pillar was when somebody died. When somebody passes away, we need to actually,
Shroud them and do the funeral.
yeah, everybody deserves a respectful burial, dignified burial. So, there were people who would call upon me or Kaniz, to do the shrouding. Yes, women, Kaniz would be there, and in the men's side, I was there. And I remember in this course of the children and people passing away, people came together, right? So we used to meet at people's homes during Muharram and during Ramadan. And then in July of 1997, we resolved to form Iman. So Iman is an organization that was formed in July of 1997. So this year we are 23 years old, believe it or not. By and large, I would say I've seen more opportunities than challenges. I think we live in a very beautiful part of the country with awesome people. I mean, even the people who may not really see eye to eye with us, they, by and large, have been very respectful and creating the room for us to be able to come and explain to them our faith. I mean, I challenge our Muslim community that do we have the courage, for example, to invite a Christian minister or a Jewish rabbi onto our podium and deliver a regular Friday service? Well, I've had that opportunity to deliver a sermon in a Catholic church and a Protestant church, right? And this all came about after 9/11. So 9/11 was a big cataclysmic event that was a wake-up call for all of us, that we could not really be in the comfortable islands that we find ourselves in. We must really be building bridges across these islands of familiarity. And this is how we came to know each other, Andy, if you remember. Sure, yeah. So I think it's been more opportunities to share and to learn. I mean, I didn't really know the exact difference between Catholics and Protestants or evangelicals and other Methodists and Presbyterians, but I'm a little bit better informed now than I was. The beautiful thing is that Abrahamic faiths, we have the common ancestor in Abraham. And we believe in the monotheism. And, my Christian brothers and sisters, I've always had a very close relationship with them since my early childhood in Tanzania. What has always impressed me about Christianity is the compassion they show, right, to their fellow human being. I mean, look, German Catholic missionaries were really serving people who are less fortunate in Tanzania, in the remote parts of Tanzania. So, and our house in Tanzania, Songea, was across from an Anglican church. So I remember the Christian Christmas masses and Easter masses, the bells things. They had a very familiarity. And I hope that more Americans actually express Islam in the same way that I experienced Islam in the same way I experienced Christianity when I was growing up. Because that familiarity made me understand that we are more alike than we are different, right? That we get close to God when we serve our fellow men. Because in Islam we say, Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim, in the name of God, the most compassionate, the most merciful. And I see that mercy and compassion for my Christian brothers and sisters. So there's a lot to common. This is why I see in America, yes, there may be some challenges, but I view them as opportunities to learn and to share.